Well, howdy there, Internet students. Mr. Hermanson again. This is a video to help you get ready for your 1.1b test retake. So you're going to have these notes copied when you show me your work. I'll be looking for that. I just want to make sure that you're reviewing and get ready for this test. I'm just going to give you a couple examples here when you're evaluating using multiplication and division and you have negatives involved. If you do a negative times a negative, like -3 times -5, you get a positive. And that kind of makes sense because remember, if you do the opposite of a negative, if you have two negatives, that's a positive. So really this is the same as this, 3 times 5. And so you get positive 15. So let's just remember a negative times a negative is positive. Also, a negative divided by a negative for the same reasons is a positive. So like -15 divided by -3 is equal to +5. Okay, now if we have one negative and one positive and the order doesn't matter, so let's say we do a negative times a positive. Like I said, the order won't matter, so if I put the positive first times the negative, notice there's only one negative in here now, so it'd be like taking this away here. So it would be -15. So you always get a negative when you do that. And likewise, if you do a negative divided by a positive, so like 15, -15 divided by, and again the order of the negative and the positive doesn't matter, but that's going to be -5. So you get a negative when you do that. All right, if you'd like, you could pause and go ahead and do the next few problems. Oh, one more thing we should talk about is the absolute value before we move on. These symbols mean the absolute value. If you put a negative in there, the absolute value is the distance from 0, and the distance is always a positive number. So, -5 is 5 units from 0. +5 is 5 units from 0. So they're both +5. Okay. Now if I put a negative outside the absolute value, like say -6, well this outside negative sign is going to make the answer be the opposite of what the absolute value of -6 is, which means the opposite of 6. All right, so go ahead and do those 6 problems. You can pause now, or you can continue and get all your notes and pause later. I suggest you go ahead and do those problems now while it's fresh in your mind. Okay, the other thing we learned during this unit is how to find measures of central tendency, which means the middle. And we have a couple things that mean the middle. Median means the middle. Mode can sort of mean the middle. It's like the most common. And the mean can represent the middle. Okay, so and then we have some words. Minimum means the least in the set of data. So if you were to use a number line, you would want the number furthest on the left, which would be, in this case, -5. The maximum is the highest, or the most. I don't want to use the word most. The highest number in the list. And so the number furthest right on the number line, which in this case would be 5. The range of the data is from the minimum to the maximum. So let's put that here, min through max. which is from -5 to 5. You can also just find the difference, what that distance is between those numbers. So, and you can get that by subtracting 5 minus -5, which is 10. Remember, subtracting a negative is a plus. Okay? The mode means the one that you see the most often. And I see, let's see, there's 2 -5s, and there's 2 -4s. You can have more than one mode. So for this, you would say -5 and -4. And the median of the data is the number in the middle. To get that, you have to have all the numbers in order. So we're going to put them in order: -5, then -5, then -4, then -4, then -2, -1, 0, and 5. And you should count just to make sure you got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we got them all 8. Okay, now we have to find the one in the middle. Okay, one way you could do that is cross off the ends one at a time until you get to the middle. And if you have two numbers in the middle, like we do here, -4, -2, then you have to find the number right in between those two. And to do that, you're going to add those two. Basically, you're finding the average of those two numbers, the mean of those two numbers, and divide that by 2. And so that's -6 divided by 2, which is -3. Okay. The mean of the data is the total of all of them divided by how many you have. So let's say by the number of data. Okay, so so we have when we total it up, I got -5 and -4. I gotta erase these, make sure I'm seeing them right. -5 and -4 is -9, and -4 is -13. I'm going to add all my negatives first, because that way I just keep getting more negative. So -2 makes -15, -1 makes -16, and -5 makes -21. Jot that down, that's the total. And we have to divide that by how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And divide that. I'm going to double check. You should always do that. I'm going to add them one more time. -5 and -4 is -9, and -4 is -13, and -2 is -15, -16, -21. And then, oh, I forgot to add my positives, didn't I? Man, it's a good thing I checked. Okay, so it's -21 plus the positive numbers are 5, and the 0 isn't going to make a difference, is it? So I have -21 plus 5 is -16 divided by 8 equals -2. All right. Let's go to the next page. You can go ahead and do those problems if you like. Pause as you need to. And I'm just going to talk about one more thing. We're going to kind of put this all together, our multiplying and dividing. Remember the order of operations. Grouping symbols come first. Not when they're used as multiplication, though, but when they're when you have an expression inside grouping symbols, you should do that first. Then multiplication and division. Now, if you have more than one, if you have a multiplication and a division, then you just go from left to right, and then you look for addition and subtraction last. Okay, so like that. So I'm going to do what's in the parentheses first, which -2 plus 6 is 4. And I'm just going to rewrite it here. And Now there's a subtraction here, but there's a multiplication here and a multiplication there. The multiplication should come first. So negative 5 times 4 is negative 20, and 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. And when you take away a negative like you are here, that's like adding 16. So negative 20 plus 16 is negative 4. All right, so finish that up and send me a photo of your work. And if it looks good to me, I'll send you the retake test. Good luck with that.